Hey, good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Retirement for an Average Joe. I'm Joe, and if you're new here, welcome in. If you've been back before, welcome back. So, just another day leaving the office on my daily 1 hour commute heading home. 45 minutes in the morning and about an hour getting home because of traffic. It's a lot of time every day. So, retirement for an average Joe. I consider myself an average Joe. You know, I've done the typical thing, made some decent money, had a good career. But I've been kind of sticking it out. I've talked before about I have a goal to make it to 62 to retire. And that was a goal I established at a fairly young age. But as I get closer to that age, I'm currently 59, I'm starting to question it. I'm starting to crunch the numbers pretty hard. I've been trying to see where I can make adjustments that might allow me to go ahead and pull the trigger on that retirement earlier at 61 or even 60 possibly. And I've run some numbers. I've used my preferred artificial teammate, Pat as I call it, which you may know as ChatGPT. And I've run some numbers in there, and I think it's possible. You know, I think I want to be, even though I'm an average Joe, my goal is to have an above average retirement. What does that mean? Well, for me, that means maintaining a pretty good semblance of my current lifestyle while I'm working. Now, I'm pretty fortunate that I spent 24 years in the U.S. Air Force. I'm retired from the Air Force. And what that did for me was provided me with a lifetime pension. It's a guaranteed income, inflation adjusted. What that did for me was provide me lifetime low-cost medical insurance through TRICARE. And those are two resources, two assets in my pocket that I've actually had since I was 42 when I retired from the Air Force. And I believe that those are going to be the key that's going to enable me to go ahead and retire early. I've been working hard on bolstering my 401k and my Roth IRA and so forth with this magical number. You know, I watch a lot of YouTube channels on retirement, and you hear all the numbers. You have to have $1 million, $2 million. But the reality is, my pension is the equivalent of having that $1 million plus in an account drawing off at 4%. But it's inflation adjusted. There's no fear of, is the market going to tank and all of a sudden I'm going to retire early, leave a job that pays well, and then a year later the market tank and all of a sudden I can't draw off the amount of money I need to continue my lifestyle. And I know that's a fear for a lot of people. I don't have to worry about, are the ACA or some other form of healthcare costs going to go through the roof in the next 6 years, 5 years, until I'm Medicare. Having TRICARE bridges that, and TRICARE is extremely low cost. I'm very blessed there. So when I take these things into consideration, along with the money that I do have in investments, I think it's perfectly plausible that I can go ahead and retire early. So I think I'm going to start running some numbers to push that retirement age from 62 to 60. My goal is to stress test this. I've done the budgeting. I know that what I'll bring in each month is more than what I'm currently spending on my everyday expenses working. way I travel changes a little bit. Maybe I take a trip less than I might take now while I'm working. But it'll be my time. I can do it on my schedule. So, where I'm at right now in my retirement plan is I haven't fully come off of the 62 yet, but I'm definitely leaning towards retiring early. I've developed a plan and a budget, and my intention is I'm going to start stress testing that budget around January. And in January, I will live strictly on the amount that I know will be in my retirement income, and not a penny more. I'll see if it works. If I can make that work for me, sorry about that. If I can make that work for me, then I'll know comfortably that I can go. But doing the stress test in advance, a couple of years in advance of my original target goal, will give me the flexibility that if after 6 months of the stress testing of my budget, I determine, no, I'm not quite there yet. Well, I haven't made any decisions. I haven't burned those bridges yet of leaving my job, and I could just readjust. But if after 6 months I determine this is going to be fine, I can live the way I need to live, then I can go ahead and start this retirement journey 2 years earlier. And 2 years makes a difference, you know. You talk about the go-go years versus the slow-go years and the no-go years. And adding 2 years to my go-go years sounds awful nice. So, if you're curious to see how my process will go and how my budget's going to work and how I can take as an average Joe and turn my retirement into an above-average retirement, please come back and join me for the journey. If you like my content, please like and subscribe and tune in for more videos. So with that, thanks for joining me and have a great day.